CNBC TV18, celebrating 15 years of leadership.
You're watching Rewind 2014, a show where the team at CNBC TV18 has lined up 5 sectors that lit up and sometimes dimmed 2014. First up, pharmaceuticals. One strategic move like this one changed the entire pecking order of the Indian pharmaceutical market. Just when everyone had given up on troubled drug maker Ranbaxy, the man at the helm of Sun Pharmaceutical saw opportunity in adversity and used Ranbaxy to turn the game in his favor. April 2014, the pharma industry woke up to the big bang $4 billion acquisition of Ranbaxy by Sun Pharmaceuticals. Sun bought out Daiichi Sankyo's entire 63.4% in Ranbaxy, making it not just one of the largest deals in the last decade, but also setting the tone for more domestic consolidation in the Indian pharma sector.
Any deal of that size will be transformational for any company.
I believe it would clearly make a big difference for them in the US market.
Larger companies are hungry for accelerated growth.
The deal catapulted Sun Pharma into the big leagues, with an enviable 9.2% market share in India and also rising to the 5th position in the world pharmaceutical market. The combined market capitalization of over $23 billion is at least 2.5 times higher than the next, which is Lupin. That's not all, but dominance in the high-margin dermatology market, entry into the rapidly growing over-the-counter drug segment, a bigger foothold in emerging markets came along with it.
Unlike a typical large pharma merger where the essential underlying purpose is synergy and cost reduction, I see the underlying purpose, as Israel says, of synergizing for growth.
But the deal caught the competition watchdog's eye. The Competition Commission of India, in a first, called for a public scrutiny of the deal to study if it will adversely impact competition in the country. After a 7-month-long study, CCI gave the merger its blessings, albeit subject to divestment of 7 brands. While the industry was still absorbing the market dynamics change, the drug pricing regulator threw the bomb. In an unprecedented move that sent shockwaves across the pharma industry, NPPA capped prices of 108 anti-diabetic and cardiovascular drugs. This meant that prices of almost 58% of cardiovascular drug market and 21% of the anti-diabetic market would come under price control. But there was a catch. These 108 drugs were outside the list of essential medicines, under which 348 drugs were put under price control only in 2013. NPPA had revoked paragraph 19 of DPCO 2013 that allows it to cap prices of drugs in public interest of all drugs either under NLEM or outside of it. And this is what spooked the industry, as it increased the risk and uncertainty of more price controls in future, because this could well bring the entire pharma market under the purview of price control. The move sparked off a heated debate.
This is not a dire extreme condition, and the drugs that have been brought under this new list certainly don't need.
But I'm saying that argument.
I am saying
to say that diabetes is not a very essential
but
thing,
there are
and
already diabetes drugs under price control.
Yeah, but the ones which are not under price control are as essential as the ones which are under price control, and that is why I said that list of 348 is bogus.
This debate made friends out of foes. Domestic and multinational drug makers joined hands to contest the order. Legal suits and heavy lobbying. The regulator had to finally bend down and revoke the guidelines under which the orders were given. The government is also simultaneously reviewing to expand the list of essential medicines, a draft of which would be ready in 2015. The other issue that kept the entire industry on its toes, both globally and particularly in India, was the increased focus on good manufacturing practices and quality compliance as the US drug regulator continued its crackdown on defaulters. As 2015 dawns, the entire industry would be watchful of this increased scrutiny. But even as I speak on this very serious subject of US FDA crackdown and quality compliance, Zara is busy watching the Oscars, reruns of Oscars. I wonder why.
And the Oscar goes to...
Watching reruns of Oscars with your friends is always so much fun, especially when it's that time of the year when everyone's busy predicting who the Oscar will go to. One thing for sure, we all know who the Oscar for the sector of the year will go to. Yes, it is e-commerce. Why? Because it gave us a perfect masala movie, which had a little bit of romance, drama and suspense. 2014 saw investors romancing the sector and pumping heavy capital in yet-to-be profitable e-commerce firms in India. And that's how investment in e-commerce in India rose by a whopping 422% in 2014 at $3,064 million versus $586 million last year. Flipkart, the main protagonist, alone received $1,890 million in multiple tranches, and sources say that yet another round of funding may be around the corner, which would value the company at a whopping $11 billion, a jump from the $3 billion valuation it had at the beginning of the year. And it's just not Flipkart. Domestic online marketplace major Snapdeal saw valuations move from $350 million to about $2 billion in just 1 year.
Market size is expected to be really big, and the internet is right now at the inflection point, and that is attracting a lot of investors to Flipkart.
But the real blockbuster is what lies ahead. As per e-commerce consultant E-Tailing India, the e-commerce industry in India is expected to touch $100 billion by 2021, a fat 700% jump from the current $12 billion. And that's why investors are justified in their bets on the sector.
When the internet penetration is almost doubling year to year, and especially the last few years, and then the next year or so, they're saying it'll go from 200 million to 400 million.
But let's not get carried away. Now, there are a few hurdles e-commerce companies will have to overcome first. For example, on the 6th of October, Flipkart announced its Big Billion Day sale, which ended up into a big disaster, marred with technical glitches and logistical failures. Things went from bad to ugly within seconds.
We saw that a lot of issues happen, and suddenly the traffic spiked across multiple websites.
Add to that, the offline retailers or the brick-and-mortar brands were hit by the heavy discounts offered by e-commerce websites and accused them of devaluing their brands and threatening their livelihoods. But with the Flipkart Big Billion Day sale debacle now behind them, these offline retailers have made their peace.
Customers have realized this, and they're actually coming back into the brick-and-mortar stores.
But if you thought the cheer was just in 2014, picture abhi baki hai mere dost. So what's in store for 2015? Domestic and foreign investors are lining up to pump in more capital. E-commerce giant Alibaba may well be on its way into the country. Flipkart and Amazon may walk the brick-and-mortar road with experience centers. And of course, the much-awaited IPO by Flipkart. While the e-commerce sector is expected to see more light, the power sector, on the other hand, has been in the dark all year. Hasn't it, Prerna?
Well, Zara, the power sector is yet to see some sunshine. Through 2014, issues surrounding coal block deallocation, limited exposure by lenders, and distressed balance sheets of power companies took the sheen away from the sector. But what kept the sector alive was a slew of consolidation moves.
Over 1 lakh megawatt of power projects are stranded, and large conglomerates smell an opportunity to acquire these operational power plants. 2014 saw a wave of consolidation in the Indian power sector, kick-started in August by Gautam Adani-led Adani Power that acquired Lanco Infratech's 1200 megawatt Udupi thermal plant for 6,000 crore rupees.
This is a very strategic move by us for venturing into the southern region where we were not so far.
Within a span of 3 months, Adani Power struck yet another deal with cash-starved Avantha Group to buy out its 600-megawatt coal-based Korba power plant. Marking another big-ticket acquisition, JSW Energy grabbed the opportunity to set its hydro asset base by acquiring 2 hydropower plants totaling 1,300 megawatt from JP Associates. A major relief for debt-laden JP Associates, who got lucky only the third time after Abu Dhabi Energy Company TAQA and Reliance Power called off the deal citing regulatory hurdles.
We are now planning to look at a situation where we can grow organically and inorganically. And there are many opportunities where we see a number of projects which are under stress or which are in the difficult situation.
While there's more that's on the block, Avantha Group is preparing to sell 2 of its power plants and thereby exiting from its power generation business. While JP Associates is also hoping to retire some of its debt and divesting stake in 2 of its power plants, that is the 1,200 megawatt and a 1,320 megawatt each. While assets of several other companies are up for grabs, take us a few given the uncertainty in the coal block allocation looms large.
The latest Supreme Court judgment has indeed proved to be a death knell for many power projects in the country. On 24th of September, in a landmark ruling, the Apex Court cancelled licenses of 214 coal blocks allocated by the government since 1993. The ruling came at a time when India is already suffering from critically low coal supplies, thereby accentuating the power crisis and forcing companies to rely on higher imports. There's the good side to it too. The tougher than expected ruling has pushed for improving transparency and good governance in the country.
Despite the gloom in 2014, the sector is now looking up, with the Power Minister assuring electricity for all in the next 5 years. This is not it. The amendment to the Electricity Act 2003 is expected to boost competition and improve electricity supply in the power sector. And not to forget, Swachh energy enthusiast PM Modi's massive solar power push will perhaps add sunshine to the sector. On to a short break. While we return, we will get you the stories of real estate and aviation in 2014. Stay tuned.
CNBC TV 18, celebrating 15 years of leadership.